Joining us now is Dinesh D'Souza, who's an author and filmmaker. Thank you for coming on the show, Dinesh.
My pleasure. Looking forward to it.
Can you tell us more about your movie 2000 Mules, based on True the Vote's evidence of third parties collecting absentee ballots and putting them in drop boxes for money?
Yeah, this is an expose of a coordinated ring of paid ballot trafficking, illegal votes, fraudulent votes, being dumped en masse into mail-in drop boxes. We've identified in 5 different states more than 2,000 mules. A mule is just kind of the trafficker. It's a term taken out of sex trafficking or drug trafficking, except we're talking now about ballot trafficking. And these are illegal votes of a magnitude that is quite enough to swing the presidential election.
Now, we'll see what the results of True the Vote's subpoenas are, but an Associated Press analysis found that even if voter fraud existed in these disputed states like Georgia, there wasn't enough of it to overturn the outcome of the election. How does that play into True the Vote's allegations?
Well, the AP approach that tried to look at this question essentially relied on looking at court cases. And they said there are fewer than 475 court cases of voter fraud, and therefore that's hardly enough, even if they were all true, to swing the election. But see, the logic of that is similar to saying there are fewer than 475 drug cases in the courts in these 5 states, therefore fewer than 475 people in these 5 states take drugs. This is absurd. All the evidence in our movie is unfamiliar to AP. They've never seen it. What we're able to show through cell phone geo-tracking and video evidence is a vast network of illegal fraud being driven by left-wing nonprofit groups embedded in the inner city. Much of this footage has never been seen before. It's being shown for the first time in our movie.
True the Vote contacted the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, who said they had no jurisdiction. They contacted the FBI, who didn't respond for 7 months. What does this suggest about these agencies?
Well, interestingly, Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, has reopened an investigation into ballot trafficking in Georgia based upon complaints filed by True the Vote. But it's a very awkward situation for the Republican establishment in Georgia, because both the governor, Kemp, and Raffensperger came out right after the election basically saying this was a secure election. And for them to say now, man, you know, I was the sheriff and this racket was going on right under my nose and I had absolutely no idea, is not easy for them to do an about turn and essentially admit that they were suckered. So I'm really hoping that they will take an honest look at this data, take an honest look at these videos. It's not just a matter of chasing down the whistleblower. The True the Vote has the cell phone IDs of all the 2,000 mules. Any law enforcement agency can go interview them, find out who paid you, who put you up to it, who organized this operation. That would seem to be the logical next step.
So what should Americans be looking out for in this movie, and where can they see it?
Well, Americans should be looking for a new way to think about election fraud. Forget about a lot of the stuff you've heard before. This isn't about anomalies. It isn't about episodic fraud. You know, a dead guy voting over here, another guy who moved is voted over there. This is about systematic fraud. And you don't have to believe me. You only have to believe the evidence of your own senses. You will actually be taken to the scene of the crime. You'll be able to see it for yourself. Now, where do you see the movie? There's only one way to see it. Go to the website, which is 2000mules.com, the number 2000mules.com. 5 different ways to see the movie, but the reason you have to go to the website is I can only put the movie on uncancelable platforms.
I see. Well, Dinesh D'Souza, author and filmmaker, thank you so much for sharing your update.
It's a pleasure.